Should you retire now or keep working? Tune in and find out.
You are listening to the Prosperous Law Podcast. Learn how to reduce stress, have more time, and make more money. Come on in.
I'm Greg McCollum, and I built a 7-figure criminal defense law firm. I formed Prosperous Law to show criminal defense law firm owners who are desperate for success how to grow from under $200,000 to $1 million and beyond. Today's topic is it time to retire? Should you retire? And obviously a lot goes into that. But I had a conversation recently with my firm administrator, Kelly, and, we meet twice a week, really sometimes more because she's in some of the other meetings that I have with my team. And we're talking about working. And, at this point in my life, my sister, I think she told me I was in Act 3. And I graduated high school in the 70s. And so if I go on Facebook or something like that, I see that all these people that I grew up with are all retired. They're all finished. They're all retiring. And so their posts are about their retirement. They're visiting their grandchildren. They're taking the trips they never could take. And they're so happy because, sadly, probably, a lot of them worked in jobs they didn't like and were unhappy working and doing something they didn't care to do, but they had to do, and they were good at it, because that's what happens when you work something a long time. It's what happened to me when I was a, active client, handling active criminal defense lawyer. I was good at it. All right. And I loved it for a long time. I didn't love the stress. I didn't love the shackles that kind of put on my life, but I loved representing people, and I still am passionate about that. However, a lot of these people work jobs they didn't like. Maybe they had a government job, or maybe they worked for a big company and did different things. And you look at their posts, they complain about it. Sometimes people are counting down for retirement. And they just want to stop. That's where they're at. And, there's this saying that you shouldn't work a job you can't stand for your whole life, because you only have one life. And you should find something that you love to do. And then the saying goes, you'll never work a day in your life, right? So if you find something you love to do, you'll never work a day in your life. And the problem with that is that none of us think it's possible, and no one that we know, or no one that raised us or taught us, our parents or whoever influences, they didn't believe it either. And you see that all the time when somebody says, you just an extreme example, you take some kid or something and say, what do you want to do when you grow up? And after they're a certain age, say, well, I want to be an astronaut. And they say, well, maybe you should think about something more realistic. Well, who's going to be an astronaut if somebody tells them to think about something more realistic? That's not going to work. There's the example I've talked about on the podcast before where Tom Brady, wanted to be a professional athlete. And I think at the time when he was a kid, he wanted to be a baseball player. And his parents, he's going to play and he's going to be a pro baseball player, I think. And they did everything. They got him the batting cage. They took him, signed him up for the leagues. They did everything. So in his mind, okay, I'm going to be a professional athlete. That later shifted. He became a quarterback. But even that, if you don't know his story, is fascinating, because there was no way Tom Brady was going to be Tom Brady if you look at where he is. I think he played at Michigan. I think he was behind Brian Greasy, who won the national championship his senior year in Michigan. I think that's true. And he was like, Tom Brady was like 6th on the depth chart. And interestingly, he had a counselor who worked for the University of Michigan, And they said, don't worry about where you're on the depth chart. You got to do these things and just stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. And he persevered longer than any normal person would. Then, he gets drafted, like I think he was the lowest player drafted. He goes to New England Patriots, and he's there. And I can't remember the quarterback's name, but this guy was one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. And now he just got signed up. And poor Tom Brady's on the same team. And he said when he was there on the field and he was looking at the guy, he goes, now here goes Brady again, bottom of the depth chart, kind of drafted as an afterthought or signed as a project or something. And Brady says he's standing there and he's watching this superstar quarterback throw the ball and the mechanics and stuff. And he looked at it, he goes, I can do that. I can do that. Okay? And he got to work. So that's just belief, because somebody put some belief in somebody that they could do something. So one of the things that I did is that, and in the meeting with Kelly, she looked at me and she said, Greg, don't you want to retire? And I said, what would I retire from? Okay? I said, I only come to work physically in the office, about 12 hours a week. And that's mostly for meetings and stuff, and because I feel like I should be there some, right? Some of the stuff a lot of it's productive because I'm actually having meetings with my team members. And there's some space there, like if we're going to, I need to meet with someone from the television station and different things like that. So there's got to be some office time in there where somebody can meet with me. But I said, what would I retire from? You guys, meaning you, Kelly, and the other team members, you guys do everything. I rely on you, and everybody does a super job, and everything gets done. And a lot of things get done better than I could do it. And everybody's devoted and dedicated. And I asked one of our lawyers when we were starting a meeting, I said, how are you doing? Are you overworked? He started laughing. He goes, no, I'm not overworked. Now, he works hard. He does a lot. Now, he also does a great job. He's very passionate about helping people. And he's in that role. He likes what he's doing. He went to law school to become a lawyer. He's a criminal defense lawyer now. He's passionate about it. He likes it. So at this time in his life, he's in a good spot. Now, also, the difference between him working for our firm now versus when I worked for the firm, in air quotes, when it was just me, all of the things about running a business, all of the things about running a law firm, all of the things that have to get done, all of the systems, all the revenue, all the bookkeeping, all the taxes, all the bar dues, all the continuing legal education, all the trips for people to go and learn. He doesn't have to worry about any of that. All he has to do is handle the cases that he's working on. That's all he has to do. Sometimes he has to step in an intake call. Sometimes he has to step into what I call a sales call, where the person would like to talk to a lawyer, so he steps into that. But that's really the only thing he does beyond being just a lawyer with cases. So he's got, if you want to be a lawyer with cases and you work for my law firm, then you got the perfect life, because you have nothing else is happening. Everything's being scheduled for you. Files are being worked for you. Client meetings are being scheduled for you. Phone calls are being scheduled for you. And so it's all being done for you. So there's that 70% of a law firm, which is the hassle part, not the client part. That's all handled for him. So he's got it pretty good. So for me, if I retired, and I told Kelly this, I said, listen, I don't do anything that I don't love doing. And I don't work with anybody that I don't love working with. And what I did is I took everything that I didn't like doing and I assigned it to somebody else. And there are even some things that I do like doing. I enjoy it, but even there's somebody better at it than me. Like right now with Fatima in our office, she does our social media strategy, and she's especially good at TikTok. Okay, and TikTok has a certain style to it that for me, it's I don't understand it. I kind of get it, kind of don't. She gets it. So she does their TikTok strategy. She does the videos. She shoots the videos. She edits the videos. She releases the videos. And then she does the other social media. Now, I kind of liked doing the social media when I was releasing stuff on LinkedIn and Facebook, but I couldn't keep up with it because there were other things I needed to be doing. And so now she handles that. She loves it. Okay. The people that work in my firm, as far as I can tell, they're pretty happy doing things that they love. And when I talked to Kelly about, okay, if I retire, what would I retire from? What would I stop doing? What would I stop doing? Once a month, we shoot our law firm videos. All right. I have a interest and affection and an affinity, for filming, for making videos, production. I love cameras. I love the lighting. I love the whole process. I can edit video. I can do the stuff. I'm not as good as the people that do it for me, but I can do it, and I love doing it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to stop doing the commercials that I enjoy doing, the stuff for the website and stuff like that. I like looking at our weekly numbers. I like looking at adjusting that. What can I do to make this business hum a little bit better? I like doing it. I didn't put all the numbers together. I'm just looking at the end result. That's my roadmap. That's my report. That's the temperature of the office. And that's something I enjoy doing, making that office better, making that office more profitable, making the revenues grow in that office, adding people to that office so we can help more people. I enjoy doing that. Sitting right now doing this podcast. I like doing it. I'd rather be doing this than what other thing I might be doing. I don't know what that would be. What I liked doing was not having any free time, having another human being with authority over me to tell me where I had to be and what I had to do. That, over time, as you get older as a lawyer, you become a little less tolerant of judges and things like that. And it's for me personally, it was largely because of an erosion of respect, because you just see things that are like, for example, in our case right now, we have this case with this woman who's I can't remember. I think she's 72 years old. It was an incident at a daycare. It was completely overblown. The law enforcement got it in the media. Judge denied bond. It's basically not even a criminal case. Like, we got the video evidence of what she's accused of doing to this child, and basically she's just kind of an elderly woman who the child slipped out of her arms. That's it. Okay. And now they've held her. I think she's been in jail. I was thinking about it on the way over here. She's been held without bail, bond denied, for I think it's going on 3 months, something like that, 3 or 4 months, stuck in jail, never been arrested before in her life. We can't get her out. We filed a petition to the South Carolina Supreme Court. We just got it back today. Denied. They're not even going to hear it. Okay. So those are things that I know about, but I'm not doing it on a daily basis. And those are the things that cause me to have this erosion of respect for the judiciary and for the judge's decision, because in that situation, it's really, I mean, what they're doing is really unconscionable, and it's frustrating. So I'm at a point to where if I'm standing in court, and this started happening to me a few years ago, I found myself, because I always pride myself, anytime I did arguments, I would say it in such a way that, and I'm arguing, but it's the most respectful way possible. And I found myself later in the trial part of my career where sometimes I just couldn't contain it, and I would get into it in a negative way with the judge, because I was about to blow up, really. It was like, if you ever seen that Al Pacino movie, Injustice for All, where he loses it. That's kind of like where I was approaching. So, it's not really a good idea for me to do that anymore, just being honest. And I've got other lawyers that are at a different phase in life, and they're terrific. So what do we retire from? My time, my tasks, the time I go to the office, the days I go to the office. Like, I don't have any phone calls. No one calls me. The only people that call me are spammers and 2 or 3 people in my family. I don't have any cases. I don't have any court. I have some meetings, but I enjoy the meetings. Like, the meetings are, our management meetings that I do with my firm administrator. We have a weekly sales team meeting where we talk about what's working, what's not working, and the ways to grow the business and make the way that our people can do a better job and help more people. So what would I stop doing? I enjoy doing videos. I enjoy writing. I enjoy, helping people. A lot of that stuff I would do for free anyway. So what would I retire from? So my daughters say I'm a workaholic, but I don't know if I would say more I'm active, that I'm proactive and I'm active, and I like doing different things, and so I'm always doing something. I don't really feel comfortable not being productive and not trying to, not to improve things, not trying to make the people that depend on me, my employees, my family, people that I work with, and then people in the coaching program, I get a lot of satisfaction out of helping people. So I don't want to stop doing that. I'm not going to retire from that. So is it time for you to retire? It may be. If you worked, for 40 years doing something and you're all set financially and you just want to go dig in the garden, or travel, to some exotic place for long periods of time, it may be time for you to retire. Building a law firm and growing a law firm, it's not for everybody. In fact, it's probably for a lot fewer people than a majority of people. So what would you retire from? What I did is, in some respects, I'm already retired, because I retired from doing the things that I didn't like to do. And the things that I retired from is I retired from having no free time. I retired from having no free time. I have free time now. I have white space on my calendar. I have open space. When I call friends of mine who are lawyers and people, I'm sitting on my screen porch, drinking a coffee or a Diet Coke or something. I haven't changed clothes. I haven't taken a shower. I haven't gotten dressed. I'm sitting on the porch talking to them. What are they doing? They've taken a shower. They've gotten ready. They got their suit on. They're in traffic and they're going somewhere. So that retired from no free time. as a busy practicing lawyer, juggling everything myself, it was hectic. I was always somewhere. I was going to a court roster. I was going to do a plea. I was going to maybe see somebody in jail. I was going to talk to somebody, and then in between time, I was driving, talking to the office, like, this new client, possible new client wants to talk to you. So here's a number, call them back. Or the DA, the prosecutor called you. They need to talk to you. The judge wants to see you. Here's his law clerk. Can he call him back? So that hectic pace of running from one place to another, I retired from that. I had no peace. My life was chaotic. It was conflict-based, which is part of being a lawyer. You can't take that part out if you're representing the actual client. I retired from having no peace. Okay? So should I retire, or am I retired? Should you retire? And if you don't, if you're sitting here listening to this or watching this, you think, well, I can't stop doing those things, then I'll just tell you you're wrong. That's just a belief. That's just like the scarcity mindset or the deeply held belief. You can retire from doing this. And if you're doing your own books, you're your own bookkeeper, I can tell you this, there's somebody that can do it better than you and likes it. They can do it 10 times better than you and like it. So you can retire from doing your books. If you, but I won't go through all the things you can retire through. I was just getting a whole laundry list in your personal and business life of things you can retire from. And if you do what I did, and you look at, well, I really don't like doing this anymore. Who can do this? It's the idea of who, not how. There's somebody that can do the things that you don't want to do, and when you pay them to do that, you actually make more money. So should I retire? No, I'll never retire. Should I retire? Maybe I already did retire. And don't think of it that way. I'm certainly not going to go around telling people I'm retired, because they'll probably think all my businesses are closed. So no. Should I retire? I probably did already retire. Okay? Should you retire? If everything you do you hate, maybe you should retire. If you own your own law firm, then I would simply say just start making a list of the things that you don't like to do. And it doesn't matter if you're good at it or not good at it. But if you don't like doing it, retire from that. You can't do this in a day or a week. It's probably going to take you over the course of, honestly, a year or a couple of years to build this perfect life. But you can do it. I'm living proof that you can do it, because I did it, and some of that comes with belief. So is there something that you can retire from? Is there one thing that bothers you that you can pay somebody else to do and train them to do? If so, then that's the start. That's the start of your retirement. Retirement, in air quotes. Wherever you are, you still have time to fix this. It's just a matter of looking at it, understanding it, believing it, and taking that first step. I hope this was helpful. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time.
If you want to know more, go to prosperatlaw.com. We show criminal defense law firm owners how to reduce stress, have more free time, and make more money. Thanks for listening.